Hello and welcome back to Utterly Unfiltered with Tash and
Cara. Hey guys, thank you for joining us again this week.
Yes.
We are going to be covering one of my favorite topics actually of the pod so far today, which is going to be angel numbers, spirituality, and what we believe in.
Ooh.
So yeah,
I'm excited.
I have so many things I believe in.
I love getting woo-woo.
I know, I love it. Woo-woo is the Salulu. No, Delulu is the Salulu is the woo-woo.
I mean, being Delulu and woo-woo is definitely the best Salulu of them all.
Yes, we just coined that term, okay. You, copyright.
Copyright.
2025. So, exciting news from both of us this week. We have both decided to be free and quit our jobs. Well, I still have a little bit of a job, but I've quit one of my jobs.
Yes.
Sasha's just gone full hug. I'm out.
I've full sent it, as I do. As I usually do.
Yeah.
I handed my notice in yesterday. Not yesterday actually, 2 days ago, Thursday.
Do you feel like there's a weight lifted?
Oh my god, yes.
Good. So then that's how you know it's the right decision, right? If there's no regrets.
It's actually crazy. Like, I was just like thinking back the last couple of days on now that I've actually had, because I was so nervous to hand in my notice. Like, I really was nervous because I've just felt like
horrible conversation every time.
Yeah, and it's like I've done it before in places where it made sense that I was leaving, and even if it was like a couple months time and I was going traveling, it would make sense. But it's not. Like, I still have 3 months, so I'm leaving early, and it's just there's a couple of reasons for it, to be honest with you. But like, I also just feel like it's just time.
Yeah, when you know, it's hard. Like when your body and your mind, like when you have that instinct, that instinct that's telling you need to get out of a situation.
Yeah,
it's hard to then talk yourself out of that and logic it. You have to just go with it sometimes.
It is, and I tried so hard to like logic it, and now that I have quit, I've just been thinking back to like I've been feeling like that for like actually months, and it's crazy that like I was just like waiting to like for the bell to drop, before I actually quit or did anything about it. And now that I have, I'm like, that was 100% the right decision. Like, I'm so glad I did that. Thank God.
That's
Thank
good.
God.
Taylor Swift has a song about this. So Tash and I were decoding Taylor Swift lyrics this morning.
were.
We had a little sleepover last night, which has been so fun. Had a few little drinks there going and some sour cream and chive pretzels, which I just inhaled. I don't know, I woke up and I still had the flavors in my mouth.
Oh,
and
lovely.
I was like, wow, I must have eaten a fair few. But it was so much fun. And then this morning we woke up and we were like, okay, right, Torture Poets Department, tell me, who is every song about? Who is the subject? So it was basically a critical analysis of the participants of the Tortured Poets Department.
It was.
And Tash, you were giving me some really good building your cases there. That was solid.
I feel like I have alternative opinions. Like, I just don't feel like everything has to be about Matty Healy.
You read between the lines, don't you?
Or,
like, there's
or
more
maybe
to this.
I just have too much faith in Taylor. I just can't imagine her writing a whole album about that rat. But like, maybe she did. Like we've all made mistakes.
I think you give him too much credit by calling him a rat.
Honestly,
I think he's a skunk.
He's a rodent, that one.
Like diseased.
But you've also quit your job.
I have. This Taylor Swift song, by the way, just to plug Taylor Swift,
finish.
because Taylor Swift needs a plug because no one knows
Always.
who she is, right?
Always.
It's time to go. That's the song, and it's like, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
It's time to go. Anyways, so
it's time to go.
I thought I have to get a Tay reference in there. I also did quit my job, but I have 2 jobs. And this one, I mean, I just want to say I quit it, but really I'm just not going to go back because it's like 0-hour contract. So.
I've handed my notice, so I still have to work for
You still have to work.
I'm
just like, I'm
never going back. Yeah.
Although I've said that 3 times and I keep going back. So let's hope. Touch wood.
This is the real time.
I've cried so many wolves that I'm like, it's got to be now. It's got to be this time. But how did you build up to making that? Was it a quick like rip the plaster off? I'm just going to go in there and say my piece.
Advice.
Just in general, like, because it's a horrible thing to do. No one likes to leave a job or likes to hand notice or a difficult situation. And I know you were planning to do it a little bit later. So what made you decide, okay, no, like, this is it. I've made up my mind. I'm doing it today.
I mean, what made me decide to do it was because I fucking hated it. So
that's a good reason.
I was just miserable every single day. And it's also like such a miserable environment. I guess like everyone's in a bad mood all the time. And that just really like...
Morale is so important,
It is. And I
I
feel
can
like...
literally hate a job, but the team's great and I'm like happy.
I just feel like I am so empathetic that I can't work somewhere where people are categorically unhappy.
Yep.
Because it makes me categorically unhappy. And like, that's not who I am. So therefore, I just feel off all the time. But no, advice for handing in notice, I guess, is like make it about you and not them. is like the biggest thing for sure.
So you didn't go in telling them that they have a shit attitude?
No, no, not at all. I didn't say anything like that. I literally just said it's not the right fit, which is true. Okay. And that I don't feel like I'm using my skills in the right way, which is true. And that I'm getting less joy than I am, pain from it, which is true. And that's all me. It's not their fault. Like, it's just, I'm not supposed to do this job. So therefore, I shouldn't be there.
So you're clear. You're not over emotional. You're pretty just kind of black and white, as is, verbatim. No. Thanks for everything. I always, my advice is always not to burn bridges as well, because you just never know if you're going to rely on the reference, or you're going to, if there's someone in the company that maybe in the future you'll be working alongside. It's always just try and keep it clean if you can. When you said about being empathetic, so question, which I think will lead us nicely into the talk about spirituality and beliefs and that kind of thing. Are you very much affected by people's like energy fields? So if someone walked into a room and they were just really like drained, would you take that on? Would you become... Would that, because I am, like if someone walks into a room and they're really just happy and jolly, like I reflect that very, very quickly. Whereas if they come in and it's like sometimes it's like the air has been sucked out.
Yes, okay. I think so. I definitely think so. And I think it's like, we talked about this in a previous episode where like I know like my power to turn the mood around in a room. Okay. Like how easy it is for me to like change the vibe.
Shift the dynamics.
Yeah. Okay. And I think that kind of like links into it in a way, but it's like with that, it's actually quite draining to always have to be like that. So like I definitely do feel like I can feel and shift the energy in a room based on like how I want it to go, but to always have to be the one who's trying to make the energy positive is incredibly draining.
Yeah, sure.
Because isn't it a nice feeling when you walk in somewhere where the energy matches?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, and you don't have to feel uncomfortable, and you don't have to feel, oh my god, I don't know why I'm yawning. Sorry.
Now my energy is going to be depleted.
Yeah, my bad. Sorry.
I have my life force has been drained from that yawn.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. But I actually do believe it. I used like crystals and things. Actually, Mum texted me when I was upstairs just now, and she's in Anik, and they've walked past a market and they have crystals.
Nice.
And she took a picture and she was like, do you need any crystals?
Oh, I love that.
There's all these different ones.
I love that.
And I'd be like, yes, please, I want this one.
Do you have a go-to crystal that you would use? I know they have different effects.
Yes, so that's what I was going to say. So black tourmaline is an energy protector. Okay. So it provides like a blocker between you and like the energies around you, and kind of just protects your energy field, your aura a little bit. Yeah. Okay. And black tourmaline is like one of the first ever crystals that I bought, and it was during COVID, and just like everything obviously in the world was quite negative. Quite a lot of things in my life were negative. Obviously there's a lot of fear, and obviously I was also living back under my parents' roof again for the first time in a long time. And like, because I was still young, I'm living here at the moment, and I'm an adult now, so I feel like the dynamic is different. But I was only 23 when I came back from uni.
Just a baby.
I'm just a baby.
Just a little baby.
And I feel like there was still elements of like my relationship with my parents as a kid versus my relationship with my parents as an adult, which hadn't been healed yet. I feel like I've said this before, but like 25 is the age where you start to realize that your family are just people who are doing life for the first time. Sure. The kind of resentment and the like misunderstandings and things, you kind of start to let go of them, and you just start to be like more accepting of like who they are as people. And it comes not just parents, siblings, like anyone who you're really, really close with, I guess. I feel like 25 is that pivotal age. And so this was pre-25 for me. And I can see it in other people as well, like who are like 23, 24, and like I hear the way they talk and I'm like,
yeah,
I know this.
I was 25 there. Yeah, of course.
I was there. I remember that feeling. So, but yes, this was pre that. So there was still like a little bit of tension and stuff. And I bought black tourmaline necklace.
Nice.
And oh my god, it's like one of my absolute favorites.
Really?
Actually, the chain's broken at the moment, so I need to get it fixed because I've stopped wearing it. But I do genuinely feel like it works.
Black tourmaline. And then what do you meditate with it? Do you...
No, but because you wear it, and it's
on your
obviously
body,
protecting your heart because it's around your neck.
Okay.
And your throat chakra. And I also, you can put, like, I have a piece on its own as well, which I carry in my handbag.
Oh, nice.
Okay. And you can like put it by your door, for example, if you want to protect the energy of your room.
It's a bit of feng shui in there as well, like your surroundings and how you prepare your surroundings to.
And I would feel like that is the one that I like relate most to, or I feel like that's probably, actually I have quite a few crystals, but that's probably the only one really that I really feel like does its job, and I completely believe in, and I will continue to use like forever.
I don't know that I've seen black tourmaline. You'll have to show me. I'll
It's
have to have a look
it's
at
a
it
black, I
after
haven't
this.
got a necklace on at the moment because I got my haircut yesterday. I took my jewelry off, but I literally wear it all the time. It's just like a black crystal in like gold, like twisty.
Pretty.
I'm sure I would have worn it multiple times during the podcast in the past, but yeah, I love it. It's so pretty.
Oh.
It's nice actually. Black goes with everything too, so it's quite a good
Yeah, it's
crystal
nice.
to have. Yeah.
Rose quartz is one that I have used before. I think
Yeah.
that's love and self-love
Yes.
in particular, and I've meditated with it, and I have enjoyed it. Again, I don't know that I relate as much. It's hard because when I'm doing a meditative practice, and I'm thinking about self-love, and I'm thinking about compassion, I'm thinking about all the warm feelings associated with that. It's hard for me to tell if it's like my mind is really powerful,
Yeah.
or if it's actually the rose quartz. But I never knock something. Like if it could even like in some kind of way, shape, or form facilitate something, I'll be like, yeah, sure, I'll try that. I'm pretty much open to anything. I wasn't always open to everything. I think you definitely more so, or maybe at an earlier age than me, started becoming interested in and researching. Because actually back when I was Tasha's little test subject for the life coaching, and I think even then you were talking to me a little bit about, that's the first time I really sort of dived into like astrology.
Yeah.
And now I'm fucking crazy for it.
Yeah.
Which leads us to angel numbers.
Yeah.
Angel numbers, do you believe in them?
This one I'm mixed on.
Okay.
Actually. So it's funny how we like pick and choose things.
Yeah.
I think it's based on our own experiences with them. Like for me, I know that crystal worked for me.
Yes, you can
and so
feel it.
I felt it. And so
Okay.
I feel like and like still works for me. So I feel like I will always be aligned with that. Like that's never going to leave me. Even if other ones don't particularly, like that one is going to always be one that I'm like
specific one that you've
attached to.
Okay.
But angel numbers, I feel like during COVID, because I was getting into spirituality and everything, I did like believe in angel numbers, and I was like seeing them all the time. But I don't feel like perhaps I didn't get the results I wanted. I have like
Sure.
but I feel like it's hard to like dive too much into it without like, I don't know, like going back in time and kind of harping on like the past. But I feel like there was so much going on during that period. I needed anything to keep me going.
Sure.
And spirituality was that thing, just like religion has been that thing for me in the past, honestly. And then whilst I'm not religious now, like it was something I needed at the time being that I was.
You. It served a function
my
for
God,
you at
it
the time.
served me, it saved me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and and I still have respect for it, even though I literally have zero
Sure.
beliefs now.
But you see the value in the believing something bigger, which can apply to
Yes.
not just religion, but anything,
Yeah.
any kind of belief in a higher purpose or a
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
angel numbers. Sorry to interrupt you. Just to give like a little bit an introduction to them.
Yeah.
So angel numbers, correct me if I'm wrong, but when I've done my reading on them, they are signs from your angels, right? And guardian angels is something I actually do believe in. I think
Love
I
that.
always have.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily believe that there's like one angel and it's like here with me right now all the time. I feel like it's just there's a presence of. And I feel that there are signs from your angels or the universe, I'm not sure how I believe they intertwine, that lead you on certain paths that are meant to be for you. I don't necessarily believe we have one future and that's all we're going to have. I don't think our fates are written in the stars. I do believe that we could have multiple different futures that we could take, butterfly effect stuff. But I do believe there's kind of ones that are more true to you and more authentic to you than others. And I believe that's where your angels are steering you towards. So angel numbers, I think, are a way that angels communicate with you whether you're on the right path or communicate with you what's to come, sort of to prepare you. I think is that the principle of angel numbers?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just you're right. It's like a sign from your angels that you're like on the right track. I think each angel number has a different meaning, doesn't it?
Yes.
So I feel like 111 is like the one where it's like you're on the right path or something.
Yeah. So they come in usually in triples, but it could be like 222. 222 is the ones I'm seeing at the moment all the time. Again, it's hard to tell if I'm looking for it and therefore I'm seeing it, or if they are there and it's just like even my Instagram posts.
Yeah.
I posted it the other day and it's like my 222nd post.
Oh.
It's not actually because I've deleted a few in the past and stuff, but not intentionally to get that number,
Yeah.
So there's been quirky little things. And I was on my phone. Like, yeah, it's always my phone. Maybe I should just not be on my phone. And it was like 22, 22. It was 10, 22. And I was like, whoa, there's like so many twos. So there's different, but it's not always the same number, right? So they could be like 789 or 481 or whatever. And you Google them and then they mean different things.
Yeah.
222, I believe, is like balance and harmony. And then there was another one I was seeing a lot, which was transformation. So
2 things that do not align with each other.
Also interestingly true, although the harmony and balance is more about reprioritizing and letting go of what doesn't serve you anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that leads to transformation.
Yes, that's true.
I think it kind of unblocks you, and you unblock yourself from being in your way. Because sometimes we are the only thing in our way. And I think
we most of the time are,
I think all of pretty much 90% of the time we are in our way.
Yeah. Because it's all a mindset thing, isn't it?
Sure.
But yeah, so that's interesting. So what do you think that, I guess, the angels are trying to tell you?
Oh, there's a question. If only I knew. Please communicate in English form. Thank you, angels. All this number business I'm not good at. I don't know. I think I am very much at a point in my life where I'm at sort of like crossroads with various different things, like relationships, friendships, career pathways, musical genres and styles. Like I'm very much like, I see myself like at the center of a bit of a whirlwind.
Yeah.
And there's all these things around me and I'm kind of like, which ones do I pick out or which ones do I, that's kind of how I visualize it. So I don't know. So that could be why I'm seeing them more or why I'm paying more attention or why I'm reading into things, who knows. But again, I'm of a similar mindset to you that if it serves me at the time, I don't really matter. Like if I get to the end of my life and I die and I find out there's no heaven or there's no angels or there's no universe or there's no whatever.
Yeah.
Like I won't care at that point.
No.
But while I'm living, if it's helping me, then I'm all for it. I don't know what it's telling me. I think I know that I'm in a period of that I could take a few different paths.
Yeah.
And I suppose the 222 one and all about letting go of what no longer serves you, that has been encouraging me to take certain decisions, such as stepping back from work, such as maybe relationships that weren't kind of serving me, just letting go of and detaching from. So I don't know. It's a cause and effect. It's like, am I seeing that and then it's influencing my actions, or am I taking actions and then that's a sign that's reaffirming that I'm taking the right actions? I don't know.
That's a good point, actually. I think a lot of it is a reassurance thing, isn't it? It's like reassuring you that you're not alone, because I think that's a big thing if you're making like big decisions in your life. Then you need to know that like you've got support.
Yep.
So I think that's where angel numbers can come in really handy. And I think like there was a lot of stuff like, again, because my peak spirituality phase was during lockdown. So I feel like that's why like I keep harping on about it. 'Cause I feel like probably a lot of people actually had this.
Yes.
And then for me, I then went the other way because I think things didn't turn out how I wanted them to after lockdown. And so I was like, well, none of that must work. So therefore, it's all rubbish and I'm going to like shun it all. And then like slowly over time, I've realized like, no, like there actually are a lot of things that I wanted that like if I go back and look at my goals list from 2020 or 2021, I have now done a lot of them. Now, like I didn't do them in 2020 or 2021, but I've done them now.
Yeah.
And I've hit them now. And it's like, so I did get what I wanted. I just didn't get it on my timeline. And is that necessarily something I have control over? No.
That's what I think is what people fall into a little bit with faith, and not just religious faith, but faith in anything. Is I do often think and we sort of disprove ourselves if things don't go the way we want.
Yeah.
I personally feel for myself that spirituality and faith and guidance is not necessarily going to give me what I want, but what I need. So I could think that my goal is, to have a house, to be married by this age, to do that. I could have all of these goals, and I could get them, or I could not get them. But that doesn't necessarily mean that was meant for me.
Yeah.
So like, if I think, okay, I want to be a really successful musician, and I tell that to the universe and I try and manifest it, and I'm seeing all these angel numbers, and then actually that never happens. That's having faith that, okay, maybe that wasn't right for me, and they just knew.
Yeah, and it's about what's happened instead.
Exactly.
Like, what did you get instead, and is that actually even better?
Because it doesn't just work like, I want this, I want this, I want this, give it to me, or otherwise you're not real.
Yeah.
It's actually more like believing that maybe things you thought were meant for you weren't.
Yeah.
And letting go of them, and then receiving other things instead.
Exactly.
It's a long way of saying it.
No, but I agree. I think that's perfect. And I think you're completely correct. And I think that something that I definitely struggled with was this idea of, because I didn't get what I wanted, I must have done something wrong in terms of like, I made the wrong choices. I took the wrong path. I used to have so many regrets. Like I would look back and regret what I studied at school, what I studied at uni, where I went to uni, like all of these every decision I made, I was like, if I'd only taken a different path, maybe I would have ended up somewhere different. And I could do that about like a gazillion things. But then I get to the stage where I'm not at now, and I'm like, no, like I actually am quite happy. Yeah. Like I feel like I know myself so much better now. Yeah. I feel like I understand past Tash and the decisions that she made, and like I feel like whilst yes, I did have a shit time at uni, and I like don't know what I want to do with my life, like career wise. I also don't really feel like it could have ever ended up any differently. Sure. Like I feel like this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Which isn't perfect. Like that's the thing. Like everything right now is not perfect. I just know that everything right now is stuff that I'm learning from and growing from, and I will, you know, like I just had to quit my job because it was so miserable. Like that's
and
not,
it didn't serve you.
You know, yeah, exactly. Like a lot of people will be like, this is the worst thing ever. Like, but I'm like, but actually I learned so much from that. Yeah. I learned that I cannot be in conflict roles. Like I'm just not designed for that. I have very specific skills and I wasn't using them. I have to use problem solving in my job. I have to use creative thinking in my job.
Those are the things that inspire and fulfill you.
If I don't use them, I have to have some kind of strategy or organization involved in my job. Without those things, I get zero pleasure from my career. Yeah. It doesn't matter how chatty, how sociable I can be. It doesn't matter how easy the job is even. It just doesn't matter. Unless I use those skills, I will not be happy. I would never have known that before I had this job.
Had you not taken it.
So thank God I did, because now I'm so clear on that.
Yeah, but that's the point of faith and spirituality. It's like, okay, you may read that in the sense of, oh, well, you know, I needed a job, I needed to save up for travel. I manifested, or I tried for this job, I got this job, but it was the wrong thing for me. So what kind of joke are you playing? Why can't I just have what I want now? But actually, like you say, that was probably the right thing that you needed to do, even though the end result of the experience is maybe not one that you would have foreseen or wanted for yourself. It's actually what was necessary to happen. But I also believe on your point of not everything's perfect. I don't think that in any of these pathways that we could take, everything's perfect. Yeah. It's just not. That is unrealistic. And I also like, what kind of story would that be? Imagine you're watching a film and there's someone who just goes through life and gets everything they want and then has the perfect job and the perfect relationship and travels all the time and is rich. No one you wouldn't watch it. No.
I might, because I like happy endings.
Yeah, no, we want the ending to be happy, but there's got to be the little like finding out, you know, all the little stuff that happens in between, the falling, the picking yourself up, the trying again, the losing and finding and everything. Yeah, I think it has to happen. Angels, do you believe in them?
Good question. I don't know. I think, again, like I used to. I don't know if I do now. I definitely had... I definitely feel like I felt that kind of presence and things in the past. But like, maybe I don't know. I think with all of this stuff, it's about what you're looking for. So I think that if I wanted that support, I could probably find it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that it probably would exist to me and be real to me if I was looking for it to exist and be real to me. Just like with the angel numbers, I think if I was at a point in my life where I was like, I need a sign from the universe that I'm on the right path, I think that they would start appearing. The angel numbers would start appearing, you know? But because I'm not really looking for that kind of reassurance at the moment, I don't see them. Because I'm not looking for, they don't come up on willy-nilly. And there are like certain things that I do like see or find that are like kind of spooky, I guess, like weird coincidences and things, synchronicities. There was something recently actually, but I wish I could remember what it was, but I can't. I can't remember what it was.
The spooky ones for me are when it's like you're thinking of someone and then at the same time they're thinking of you. Yes. Like it was a message I opened, or I was voice noting Tash about the pod. Yes. To give my thoughts, and as soon as I opened our chat, I think we hadn't spoken for a day. You were typing, I could see your little typing, and I was like, I know that coincidences happen, I know that, but at the same time I'm like, we're on the same wavelength at the same time.
Yeah.
Whether it's coincidence or whether it's like divine
of all the
intervention.
minutes of the day,
Yeah,
what are the
all
chances?
the seconds of the day.
Yeah.
And I was at work. I was
Yeah.
in a break
Yeah.
from like having two little like meetings that I was having. And you were probably had just quit your job or something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, what are the odds that we're now just thinking of the podcast?
It's the exact
I
same
know
point
the
in time.
coincidences, but coincidences
Yeah.
can sometimes mean more. And
Yes.
I like to believe that they do.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that for sure. I agree with that for sure. I think as well, like with manifesting in general, like, do you believe in manifesting? I mean, we've already talked about this previously, but
I do. I believe more so in, because again, like I'm sort of just figuring out what I believe in the sense of spirituality, but I know I believe in something bigger of some description. But I also think that manifestation, even if you aren't spiritual or you don't believe in kind of the supernatural, I think it can still work wonders for you just by the very practice of it. So manifestation, you are clarifying your goals and you are taking steps to work towards them. I don't believe in the manifestation of like sitting back and being like, oh, okay, I really want a record deal. I'm just going to play my guitar in my room and just it's going to come to me.
Yep.
No, I feel like you have to work for it. I think anyone that practices manifestation would say that too. So I think even if you don't believe in the universe meeting you halfway, or whatever, the force meeting you halfway, just by the fact that you're trying to do something, that you're going for something and trying to achieve something that is important to you, you are more likely, without a doubt, you are more likely to achieve it or move in that direction.
Yeah.
As opposed to just not believing that you can do it, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I do believe in it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the manifesting thing, I guess, I feel like that's where I probably do actually feel more recently a little bit more like spiritual.
Yep.
Because of some of the things that I've realized that I did get what I wanted, but years later, you know, and it's made me realize like, oh, like I wonder if like even things like for example, when I lived at home, I manifested a job with a certain salary, and then I didn't get that, you know, for like 3 years, but then I did, and I had that, and I looked back on my list, and I was like, oh yeah, like I had that, like tick
4 months ago,
like, or like, there was one about graduating, there was one about like fitness, and like all of these things are things that I actually have like achieved. Like running a 10K was on my like list of things I want to do, and I know it's just a goal, so it's easy, anyone could just go and do it, but like it wasn't that easy for me, to be honest with you, because I didn't run at all. Like I was very unfit, and I also didn't have an asthma diagnosis at the time, so I didn't know how bad my asthma was, so it was actually really impacting my fitness. But one of the big things that I used to manifest was Australia, because I wanted to move to Australia.
Yep.
And this year, now that we're going traveling, something we've decided is rather than going to South America, we're going to go to Asia, and then we're going to go to Australia. And I have like I feel like giddy, or like I have like goosebumps at that thought.
Sure.
Because I when I tell you, every day of my life, for 2 years, I was writing, you know, morning pages about living and moving to Australia. And now that reality is like might actually happen. It might not, because we might decide we don't want to do it, and that's fine too.
But the option is
but
there
the
for
option
you.
is there again, which I never ever thought was an option.
Yeah.
Ever. Like even when I first met Ali and we talked about traveling, we never spoke about, because it was too soon for me to speak about the idea of moving to Australia.
Sure.
The whole country had a big black cross across it, you know.
Sure.
It was not somewhere I was going to be.
Yeah.
And so I never even entertained the idea. I'm too old for that now. I can't do a working holiday in Australia now. You know, like I've got to get a career. I want to buy a house. I want a dog. I don't have that option. We talked about travel, but you know, 6 months of travel around some Asian countries, or South American actually was the original plan, is not the same as moving to the other side of the world.
Which we're still very upset about, by the way.
Sorry.
Very upset. And maybe we will join you.
Yes, I think you should.
Okay.
Honestly, you should. But like, I just didn't think it was ever going to happen, and now it might, and it's like, oh my god, like that, I did get what I wanted. I'm going to get what I wanted.
But again, it didn't look like the way you thought it would look,
No.
and it didn't happen in the timeline that you thought it would happen in. But that for me is where the universe plays its part and says, just wait, like it's for you, but it's not for you now.
Exactly.
And it's for you, but it's not for you in this way.
Yeah.
But it will happen for you if it's what you truly desire and what's, what you are able, what your intuition is telling you is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
That's actually really interesting. It reminds me of a little, like, I don't know if it's a visualization or it was a quote, but I like to think about it. It's almost like that joint partnership between yourself and the universe with manifesting. Or is it, or whoever, whatever, that you believe is helping you to achieve it. But it's something like, step off the cliff and the bridge will appear.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you need to make the moves.
Yeah.
And then you will be helped and supported and facilitated by this other force. So it doesn't absolve you of responsibility. It's the opposite, actually. It gives you the responsibility.
Yeah.
But then it talks about how you will be met where you are. And helped where you are. And I really like to think about that.
I have a question for you, actually. How do you think intuition plays into all this?
Ooh. That's a good question. I think that's that part of the spiritual realm that's supporting you. But I do also think it comes from me. So the way I see it and the way I like to think about manifesting and spirituality is a higher self version of me, right? They talk about that a lot. It's kind of, so when I picture where I want to be in life, I picture this kind of, not just who I'm surrounded by and the experiences I'm having, but who I am at my core and how fulfilled I am. So part of me is like, is my intuition my higher self communicating with me and telling me, okay, this is what you need to do to get to where I'm at.
Nice.
And this is where you want to be. And this is where you want to. But then that higher self, like for me, that in itself feels a little bit spiritual because it's not tangible right now. It's somewhere in the ether or it's something, whether it is me or whether it's like guidance from something else. But I feel like it's almost kind of communicating down and being like, this is what you need to do.
So
and
it's like that niggling feeling is actually the universe or your higher self speaking to you through your gut.
I think that's what I think.
Yeah.
I think. What do you think?
That's so funny. Well, the same but opposite.
Okay. Cool.
So for me, I feel like all the signs we get from the universe and everything we want to manifest, whether it happens or doesn't happen, is it's to push us to our intuition. So I feel like our intuition is in the body. Oh. But so it's like the intuition is the leader, I guess. It's the source.
Okay.
But the universe is trying to remind you to listen to it. It's going to keep you accountable to it. It's going to keep when you're acting in line with your intuition, those angel numbers are going to appear,
and you're in flow.
You're going to get what you want. You're in a flow state.
They talk about flow.
When you're not listening to your intuition, that's where harder things might come into your life. You're not going to get what you want immediately, but you might get it eventually. Like I feel like it's like the universe's job is to like keep you coming back to your intuition and who you actually are and what you actually want.
Okay, so you believe you are the source.
Yeah.
Whereas I suppose, and for me, I believe that I'm not the source. I don't know what I would be, but that there's this other source that I'm feeding off of and trying to get to.
Exactly.
So that's interesting.
And I think I used to feel that way too. And I think that's like, because I remember when we did the coaching, like when I was speaking, it felt like channeling. People talk about channeling.
Yes.
And like that felt very aligned to me. Like I really didn't even know. I mean, I've never actually thought before I spoke, like in my life, and I think it's very obvious in this podcast. And I'm not the clearest storyteller for that reason because I don't prepare in advance. Like even now, I'm trying to prepare in advance what I'm saying to like see if I can do it, and it's just coming out wrong. Like I can't.
Although it's not, by the way, coming out wrong. But actually you're very eloquent.
But it's not I'm just saying the same words over and over again. Like it's not a statement. It's like got pauses and gaps and interruptions and filler words.
As opposed to sometimes you feel like you're channeling.
Yeah, where everything just seems to flow
and it's
naturally and the words seem to make sense and there's not these gaps and breaks and ums and ahs and things, I have it with music. I have it with like I'll sit down and try and write a song about a topic that I think is really relevant to me or feelings that I've had. I'm like, this would make a great fucking sad song. Yeah.
And I'm writing it and I'm like, nothing's coming, nothing's coming out of this game. And then like an hour later, I'll pick up my guitar. I'll just start something completely new, not thinking about it. And I will write a song in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'll go and have to reframe it. I'm not saying it's going to be a banger, but like it's just happening.
Yeah,
it's just
coming
happening.
out of you, yeah.
And I'm not even like a conscious participant. I'm just a vessel and it's flowing through. I think that's how it feels.
Yeah,
to
that's
channel.
how I felt when I was doing the coaching, for sure.
Okay.
It felt very just like out of body. But now I think that I have kind of like, I guess somewhat intentionally as well, because I think I have in the past left a lot of things up to the gods, you know, like as to like, I've never really been a very good decision maker. It's not part of my, you know, astrology. And I do believe in astrology, as you guys know, because we talk about it all the time.
We love it.
And I think I sometimes use that as an excuse to like not actually take like solid steps in a direction. And I would just like be like, it's okay, like, you know, the universe has my back, like, you know, what will be. Whereas now I feel like I'm more trying to not what will be and be like, what is my intuition actually saying to me? And let's like actually like stand up for myself a bit more, like not be forceful, but just be perhaps a little bit more aggressive with it.
Okay.
Because I think that there, I guess in manifestation in general, there's only so much you can leave up to the universe. But like one thing that I like always say to myself is it's easy for me to get what I want. It's like a mantra that I share all the time. So it's like there's three. It's the universe has my back. It's easy for me to get what I want. And the third one I can't remember right now, annoyingly. Clearly it's not very aligned. Clearly it's not very aligned at the moment.
What you say every day, or
I can't remember. But anyways, it's easy for me to get what I want one is a huge one for me, because I used to feel like it was impossible for me to get what I want. As in like, I'm not saying, I guess when you say that, it almost sounds like spoilt brat wise.
No, I know what you mean. Like you can make anything happen.
Yes.
That you want to happen.
Exactly.
It gives you power and a sense of agency.
It does, because I always put myself low down on the list of priorities. Like, and it just like, I don't believe that anyone sees me as an expert. I don't believe that anyone sees me as like skilled or interesting or smart. And so if I don't believe those things, then how do I ever expect to get things that require that in my life? It's like I'm always putting myself lower down the list. So it's always hard for me to get what I want, because what I want requires people to actually recognize me and what I have to offer.
Okay.
In any way, whether that's friendships, relationships, jobs, like.
That's more nuanced, because your perception of yourself is always going to be probably highly inaccurate of what other people actually do think of you, because everything you said that you don't think people think of you, I think of you, and a lot of people that think of you.
Yeah.
So there is that too. It's like, how do we know? We'll never know. We can know ourselves as much as we think we can, but we'll never know how other people think and perceive us. We
100%.
will just never know.
100%. I know it's self-inflicted, but that's why me saying it's easy for me to get what I want, it reminds me that like, my wants matter too.
Okay,
like,
I like that.
I have value that I should be compensated for in any way, whether that's, you know, honesty in a relationship or payment at work or boundaries in a friendship or whatever it is. It's like, no, I deserve those things. It's like, it's easy for me to get what I want. It doesn't have to be hard all the time. Like, I don't have to fight my corner.
Sure. And you shouldn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. I shouldn't have to. So that's kind of where that comes from, I guess.
So we talked a little bit about, we wanted to do in this podcast, we'll do it in another one because I can't find them, but tarot cards. How does that fit into you believing you will have the control ultimately?
Yeah.
Versus this ability to foresee what your future may entail, therefore implying that actually there is something else at play that could be guiding you.
That's crazy you just said that, because I feel like I've just had such a realization in the moment there, like when you said that, which is so wild. But
which is?
Because I have never felt that aligned with tarot cards.
Okay.
Like, I've done them so many
times,
so many times, and they've told me things that I wanted to hear and see, but those things never happened.
Okay.
And there's only one time I remember something specifically, and it was a negative thing, and it did happen, and I knew it was going to happen, and it was kind of inevitable, but it gave me some kind of comfort. But every other time, nothing ever came from it, I guess. And I think what I've realized just now when you saying that is because, for me, I believe that my intuition is the source.
Okay.
And the universe is supporting me in staying aligned with that, and like reminding me to get back to that and correcting me when I fall off of that path. Okay. For me, a tarot card is too outsourced. it's like
that would be probably my version of belief.
Yeah.
Whereas that is the source.
Yeah.
And that's telling me, and I'm feeding from that
Yeah.
source. Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And you want that guidance
Yep.
from the cards
Externally,
to help you make those decisions, which probably will align with your intuition at the end of the day, because it's a loop, really, we're talking about here, isn't it? And whether or not you start the loop at the intuition or at the higher self, you're still having the same cycle.
And whether what you're feeling, because intuition is ultimately that knowing, that feeling, whether what you're feeling is coming from you or coming from something above, either way, it's still the same. It's the feeling.
Exactly, exactly. But I that's actually such an interesting point. We'll definitely do tarot at some point. Because I do like, I like doing it. And I feel like a lot of it also is, the power is in the question you go into the cards asking. The more specific you can be, the more accurate the answers will be. It's something that I've found. So that there's a couple of times where like, it has worked for me, like one time specifically I can think of. And it's because I was very specific on my question and I got a very specific, accurate answer based on it.
Okay.
When you're more vague and be like, you know, what do I do next? Or like, you know, am I on the right path? It's like, there's so much interpretation involved in that, and you'll interpret it based on your emotions on the day. Okay. So like, say you've just had a massive fight with your partner, and then you do tarot cards and you're getting like, you know, independence, freedom or whatever. You're like, that's it, I gotta leave them, like that's how I'm feeling today. But then other times you could do those cards and not have, you know, be totally fine, and you'll see independence, freedom, and you'll be like, oh, you know what, like I think I need to change my job because I'm getting micromanaged at work. And it's like, I feel like the interpretation,
you'll draw your own conclusions,
is quite hard when it's vague. But when it's specific and you ask the cards, should I quit my job, it's much easier to get more specific answers on that.
Do you think you need to believe in something for it to actually work?
Ooh, good question.
So as in, if I said a prayer, for example, but I didn't think I was praying to anyone, you know, these are things you can never study, right? Because they're not tangible, they're not actual things. They're not like, you can't prove any of these things, which is why it's faith, because you believe in something you can't prove. But if I manifested using, or if I meditate, using a rose quartz, but didn't really believe in the rose quartz, is it still going to work with me? Do you know what I mean? Like, is the belief, is it a key factor, or can you just do the practice of, I really want this to happen, really? Because in manifestation, they talk, I'm going on, it's to try and contextualize it. So in manifesting, they tell you need to feel grateful, and you have to feel it in your body. You have to feel what it's like to receive what you're receiving, or what you want. You have to feel what it's like to that person to ask you on a date, or feel what it's like to get the job that you want. You have to feel it in your body, and then therefore, like, that's how it happens. You can't just sit there and be like, oh, I really want this job, like I'm gonna really write it down, I want this job.
It's a good question, and I think the answer to this lies in whether or not you think spirituality and the universe and the gods, or whoever they are, exist to everybody regardless of whether they believe or not. Or do they just exist if you believe?
That's a good one. I actually think they exist to everyone.
Yeah.
But you can tap into them, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, them, by them existing, I don't know what them is. Again, it's my very vague description of spirituality, of a higher force existing to everyone.
So in that case, if you believe that the universe exists regardless of whether you believe in it or not, one believes in it or not, then if you pray even though you don't believe it, it's still happening, it's still existing, and the universe is still going to guide you in the correct direction in any way it can communicate with you.
Interesting, but if you perceive it like a relationship, say our friendship, if I am telling you things, or I'm kind of asking things from you, but I'm not putting any feeling into it or belief, or I'm saying, oh Tash, like, you're gonna have the best time traveling, it's gonna be awesome, like it'll be great. Like, is that not a bit different than, Tash, you're going to have the best time, like, because I actually believe it, and I believe it for you, and you, like, I don't know, it comes down to, like, how much, if is it an active relationship where you have to invest time, effort, and belief, and put a little bit more into, or is it just, like, simple as cool, I really want this to happen. Like, make it happen.
That is a crazy question, because this goes into the whole like faith crisis concept, because I watched Secret Lives of Mormon Wives the other week.
Oh, I want to watch it.
I want to watch it. Good.
Oh,
you have to watch it.
I'm going to.
And
It's
one
binge.
of the girls, she was saying about she's been through some really tough times, and because of that, she's not been going to church, and she's, you know, she found like her relationship with God. Obviously, they're religious. Mormonism is a religion, so that's not quite the same as what we're talking about. But at the end of the day, I feel like all of it is very similar. We're just talking about, I guess, the difference between cultural religion and spirituality, which is not particularly cultural, I guess. But yeah, she says that she said that she felt like because she is going through this hard time and she stopped going to church and everything, she can't hear God anymore. And she feels like because of that and the relationship with God has weakened, more bad things are happening.
Okay.
And it's, guess, this idea that like God will only listen to me if I'm talking to him.
Okay.
But he won't support me if I neglect him, if I don't go to church, if I don't pay my dues, if I don't pray to him.
It's a bit of a fear response though, isn't it?
Which
should be unconditional.
Don't believe in.
Yeah.
Because I know my spirituality ebbs and flows, like massively.
Yeah, of course.
Like I've gone through times where I've been incredibly spiritual and times where I literally, if someone asked me, I'd say nah. Like, and whether that was the truth or not is different, but it's like that's what I was feeling in that moment.
Sure.
So, but I don't think the universe has given me any more or less guidance during those times. It's my investment in whether or not I'm willing to listen to it that have changed.
And how you perceive it. So potentially we're talking that sort of belief that we both hold in the sense of like the universe is constantly offering guidance and support and intuition, but you're choosing to pay attention to it. It's the paying attention, isn't it? Like the paying attention to the intuition.
Yeah.
We all have those gut feelings.
Yeah.
Whether we pay attention and actually listen to them or even try and understand them, because sometimes you don't know what that means. You just know you don't feel right about something. You don't know why.
Yeah.
Or whether we choose to just be like, nah, doesn't matter. It's fine. I'm going to keep going on the path I'm going. Interesting. Last question for you on this topic. So, astrology.
Yes.
Where does that fit in with your beliefs of manifestation and you being the source and gaining guidance from the universe? Is that part of the universe? I know the stars are part of the universe, but in your mind, as whatever the universe means to you, is that part of the universe?
That's a great question. You're giggling now.
We're trying to just drop ourselves back into the pod.
We are, yeah. Nightmare, honestly. Camera batteries, it's the bane of my life.
So it's a great question. Thank you.
It is a great
5
question.
times now.
So, hey, you just make such amazing questions, Cara.
Wow.
So, actually, I think what I believe here, again, I feel like it's just very specific, but it just is what feels best for me, is everything we learn from astrology and birth charts, human design, all of that stuff, tells us more about who we are and what we want out of life, and allows us to align more with our intuition again. So it comes back to the intuition again. It comes back to your core values. It comes back to what you want out of life specifically. And I think it's definitely spiritual in terms of like, if you're trying to manifest something that your birth chart and your human design tells you is just not, like if I was trying to manifest being a lawyer or something, for example, you know, my conflict avoidance, Libra, mediator, stars,
you're out.
Would be like, Tash, no, honey, like terrible idea, you know? And it wouldn't work out for me. Like,
imagine if we could have that conversation with the universe. Like,
yeah.
no, honey, it's not for
on,
you.
Honey, we tried to
leave that behind. Interesting. Do you think your source is then formed based on where the stars are, like the source of you, or your spiritual source, is what is formed by the positioning?
Love that question. I love that. Why the heck not? I think that's amazing.
Well,
what? I mean, I feel like it's not, I don't know, but I like that.
Like the concept of it.
Yeah, that. I feel like maybe that is what I believe. I don't know. I've not thought about it yet.
We should think about it.
But that's so cool, because I do think, like, I understand why. For me, astrology makes sense, because I do think that the time you were conceived, the time that your mom was pregnant with you, the time that you were born, all influence who you are because of multiple different factors, like the type of fruit and veg available in winter versus in summer that your parents eating, the quality of the water around the world, you know, because your location of birth matters too. Like, I think that if you were born and then went in straight into winter, you're going to have probably a more peaceful personality than some, you know, like a Gemini.
So you believe in also
summer.
the earthly sort of geographical
Yeah, and I understand
aspects.
that obviously, okay, fine, like Australia is winter in summer and summer is winter, and I don't know how that works, but like I don't know.
We don't.
But also something to think about too is that it's not just about where your sun is, it's also about your moon and your rising sign as well, and that will be different based on your location, because when you do your birth chart, you don't just put in the time and the date, you'll put in the location, because the stars look different all around the world. So they're not in the same place everywhere. So someone who was born at the same time on the same day in the UK versus in Australia is going to have a different birth chart.
Another question.
Yes.
How does that actually work in what would astrology believe, in the sense of where the stars are positioned? How does that influence, according to astrology, our personality? Like, how? Is there like a sort of like a magnetic pull from the stars where you were born?
I have no idea.
Like,
I actually have no idea.
I've never questioned like the match between, okay, cool, these were the position of the stars. This is me, my little being born.
Yeah.
Like, this is what's happening.
I feel like it's because we're all like atoms and energy and things, and so at the end of the day, like
all
we are is the existence of atoms and energy.
I mean, we are star matter, no?
Yeah. Yeah, well, the whole universe came from one rock one day. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're all made of the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I think we don't even know the science. It's far too crazy.
And we never will.
No. It's too much. And because I think it has been deemed as woo-woo, there aren't any scientists out there looking into this, you know, because...
Well, but it's also not... but it's not measurable, because but it blows my mind how people think that it's easier to discount this whole other world. I feel like it's more likely that there's more than meets the eye. Like, 99% of the time is more likely than unlikely. So to discount it, right? But my other point is, like, just because you can't see something doesn't mean it's not there. And even if it's on an emotional, hormonal level, like, I would argue that love is real. I would argue that hate is real. You can't see them or measure them statistically, but you can feel them and perceive them and show them.
Absolutely.
So why is that? You know, how do people believe in the concept of love versus the concept of spirituality?
Great question. Just because it's become societal norm,
possibly,
that's
or because they feel they can interact with it. But that's a whole other thing. Do you believe in love? Maybe that should be another topic. That's a big one. I don't know if we should wrap it up there. I feel like, guys, let us know if you have any beliefs, if you could expand on some of ours, or if you disagree, or if you have your own sort of insights. Please drop them in the...
Tell us what you believe in, because it's fun to learn about these new things. Just like how I just learnt this new idea from Cara about how whether or not the birth chart actually creates your intuition.
Source. I don't know.
Which I'm like, amazing. I'm obsessed with that. I'm going to look into this.
We should do it, because it's not even... I wonder how it all interlinks. I wonder how it all relates. I'm always curious about like where we begin and where we end, and in between. Also, drop us some stars, because we've been talking about stars. Thank you very much.
Please.
That would be very fitting. Very fitting.
It would.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And join us next week too. We'll have some more interesting topics and debates for you.
Absolutely, we will. Thank you so much for listening,
Thanks,
guys. Speak to you next week. Bye.